Stop eating these 7 fruits if you want to keep your legs strong after 60. At first, Evelyn thought she was doing everything right. At 68 years old, living in a quiet neighborhood in Texas, she had recently committed to a cleaner diet, cutting out processed snacks, sodas, and fried foods. In their place, fresh fruits, lots of them. Oranges, bananas, grapes, watermelon. She filled her fridge with nature's candy, believing it would boost her energy and support her aging body. But just 6 months into this healthy habit, something unexpected happened. Evelyn began to notice swelling in her ankles, a tingling sensation in her calves, and a sense of imbalance when walking across the kitchen floor. Her daily walks became shorter, and getting up from a chair took more effort than it used to. The problem, surprisingly, wasn't age. It was her fruit bowl. Why is it that so many older adults, despite eating clean, still find their legs growing weaker? Why does going up the stairs start to feel like climbing a mountain, even though you're following all the right health advice? The truth is, many seniors fall into a common trap, believing that all fruits are good for all ages. That couldn't be further from reality. The aging body processes sugar, acids, and inflammation triggers differently than it did at 30 or 40. Some fruits, while healthy for the general population, can quietly worsen circulation, spike blood sugar, increase water retention, and aggravate sensitive joints in older adults. And the worst part, these effects creep in slowly, often going unnoticed until it's too late. You might be shocked to learn that several fruits you probably eat weekly, maybe even daily, are contributing to leg pain, stiffness, and muscle weakness. They may seem harmless, but they're quietly undermining your strength, balance, and mobility. From sharp spikes in uric acid to acidic compounds that inflame joint tissue, these fruits can act like hidden saboteurs inside your body. But this video isn't just about what to avoid, it's also about solutions. I'll not only walk you through the 7 fruits you should be cautious with, but I'll also introduce you to powerful alternatives. These are fruits that actively support your circulation, reduce inflammation, and protect your leg strength as you age. So let's get started. The first fruit on the list might surprise you. It's often praised for its anti-inflammatory benefits, but for seniors, it can backfire in unexpected ways. Let's talk about pineapple. For decades, pineapple has held a glowing reputation as a natural anti-inflammatory powerhouse, praised in magazines, recommended in health blogs, and even served in hospital fruit cups. Many seniors view it as a healthy treat, rich in vitamins and helpful for digestion. But here's where the misunderstanding begins. While it's true that pineapple contains bromelain, an enzyme with some anti-inflammatory properties, what's often ignored is the context. For people over 60, the very components that make pineapple seem beneficial, its acidity, its high natural sugar content, and bromelain, can quietly work against aging joints, muscles, and circulation. Let's break it down. As we age, our blood vessels become more fragile and our insulin sensitivity declines. Pineapple, though delicious, contains a high amount of natural sugars, especially fructose, that causes blood sugar to spike rapidly. When blood sugar rises too quickly, the tiny capillaries in our legs, the same ones that deliver oxygen to joints, muscles, and nerves, suffer damage. Over time, this results in decreased circulation, inflammation, swelling in the ankles, and that familiar heavy leg feeling after a short walk. Even worse, the fruit's acidic profile can aggravate joints that are already inflamed, especially for seniors dealing with arthritis. What was meant to be an anti-inflammatory snack ends up feeding the fire inside your knees, hips, and ankles. And then there's bromelain, the hero of pineapple. In healthy young bodies, bromelain can help reduce swelling. But in older adults, especially those on blood thinners like warfarin or aspirin, bromelain may interfere with medication absorption. It can either intensify the blood thinning effect, raising the risk of internal bleeding, or reduce the effectiveness of the medication altogether. Yet because these reactions are slow and silent, most seniors never connect their joint pain, bruising, or fatigue with that innocent-looking pineapple slice at breakfast. Take Martha, a 67-year-old retired librarian from Oregon. She added pineapple to her daily smoothies for months, thinking she was making a smart choice for her inflammation. But her legs began to feel stiff, and her knees would throb after sitting too long. After lab tests showed erratic blood sugar levels and elevated inflammatory markers, her doctor advised eliminating acidic fruits for a trial. Within 3 weeks of cutting out pineapple, her stiffness improved noticeably. Her walking endurance went from 5 minutes to 15. No new medication, just one small dietary change. So does this mean pineapple is toxic? No. But moderation is key, especially if you're over 60, have joint pain, or are taking blood thinners. A few small chunks once or twice a week, preferably paired with protein or fiber to slow sugar absorption, might be tolerable. Avoid eating it on an empty stomach or alongside other high-acid foods. If you notice your legs feeling heavy, swollen, or more painful after pineapple, it's worth pausing and reevaluating. Your body may be signaling you more than you think. Now, if something as healthy as pineapple can be this sneaky, what about the next fruit on the list? One that's beloved for its potassium, but may be silently dragging down your legs with every bite. Let's talk about bananas. Bananas have long been considered the perfect fruit for energy, muscle health, and preventing leg cramps. They're soft, portable, and packed with potassium, so it's no surprise that many seniors eat them daily, often with breakfast or as a mid-morning snack. But the truth is more complicated. While bananas do contain essential nutrients, they also carry hidden risks for adults over 60, particularly for those with circulation issues, prediabetes, or joint discomfort. The problem lies not in the fruit itself, but in how an aging body responds to it. Let's begin with the sugar load. Bananas are rich in fast-digesting carbohydrates and natural sugars, which cause blood sugar to spike shortly after consumption. In younger adults, the body can manage this rise efficiently, but in seniors, especially those with reduced insulin sensitivity, these rapid glucose fluctuations can lead to inflammation in small blood vessels, including those that support leg muscles and nerves. Over time, this contributes to leg fatigue, stiffness, and even chronic swelling. Bananas also promote water retention due to their potassium-sodium interaction, which, although helpful in moderation, can backfire in aging bodies already struggling with fluid regulation. The result: puffy ankles, stiff knees, and that familiar heaviness in the lower legs. Consider Harold, a 74-year-old veteran from North Carolina. He ate 2 bananas a day, believing they were helping his muscle cramps. Instead, he noticed worsening leg tightness, a dull ache in his calves, and swelling by mid-afternoon. His doctor initially suspected circulation problems, but his labs showed elevated insulin and sodium retention. When bananas were removed from his diet and replaced with lower glycemic fruits like berries, Harold reported improved energy, better balance, and significantly less swelling within 2 weeks. Does that mean bananas are completely off-limits for seniors? Not necessarily. They can be eaten in small portions, half a banana at a time, no more than a few times per week, ideally combined with protein or fiber like peanut butter or oats to slow the sugar impact. Seniors with a history of swelling, leg fatigue, or metabolic issues should avoid eating bananas first thing in the morning or before long periods of sitting. Always observe how your body responds. If leg heaviness or water retention worsens after banana consumption, it's time to reconsider. And if bananas, so widely accepted as good for the muscles, can quietly burden aging legs, imagine what the next fruit, tiny but deceptively powerful, might be doing. Let's take a closer look at grapes and their unexpected link to uric acid buildup and joint pain. Grapes are often seen as the perfect snack, small, sweet, and packed with antioxidants. They're praised for being heart-healthy and easy to digest, making them a popular choice among seniors looking to eat more fruits. But few realize that grapes, especially when eaten in excess, can quietly trigger problems that directly impact joint comfort and leg mobility in adults over 60, the main issue. Fructose, the natural sugar found abundantly in grapes. Fructose is metabolized differently from other sugars. Unlike glucose, which can be used by many cells in the body, fructose is processed almost entirely in the liver. When consumed in large amounts, like eating several handfuls of grapes throughout the day, it overwhelms the liver's ability to handle it efficiently. The byproduct of excess fructose metabolism is uric acid, which accumulates in the bloodstream and eventually deposits into joints. In seniors, this often shows up as swelling and pain in the toes, ankles, and knees. Even worse, uric acid contributes to systemic inflammation, exacerbating existing arthritis or vascular stiffness. The effects may not be immediately obvious, but over time, seniors who snack on grapes regularly may begin to notice subtle but persistent symptoms: tightness in the calves, aching in the heels, or soreness that flares up after walking even short distances. For those already managing joint issues or a history of gout, grapes can quietly worsen flare-ups. Take Linda, a 69-year-old retired teacher from Colorado. She loved her evening ritual of a small bowl of red grapes with tea. Over the course of several months, she began waking up with sharp pain in her big toe and experienced swelling around her ankles by evening. A routine check revealed elevated uric acid levels. Her doctor suggested reducing high fructose fruits, and within 3 weeks of removing grapes from her diet, the toe pain disappeared and the swelling improved significantly. So should all seniors eliminate grapes completely? Not necessarily. A small serving about 10-12 grapes a couple of times per week is unlikely to cause harm, especially if paired with hydration and a diet low in other fructose-rich foods. However, seniors with a history of gout, uric acid buildup, or unexplained joint pain should be especially cautious. Avoid eating grapes late at night or in large quantities, and monitor for patterns of swelling or discomfort that could be linked to their consumption. If something as seemingly innocent as grapes can trigger internal inflammation and uric acid spikes, what about fruits that act more like sugar bombs in disguise? Let's turn to one of the most hydrating but deceptively dangerous fruits for aging circulation: watermelon. Watermelon is widely seen as the perfect fruit for summer, hydrating, refreshing, and seemingly harmless. Many seniors eat it to cool down, stay hydrated, and avoid processed desserts. It's often recommended because it's low in calories and mostly water. But what most don't realize is that watermelon carries a hidden risk for older adults: its high glycemic index. Despite its watery texture, watermelon causes a rapid spike in blood sugar levels, and for those over 60, this sugar rush can silently weaken circulation and contribute to leg fatigue. As we age, our bodies become less efficient at managing blood sugar and insulin response. When a senior eats watermelon, especially in large portions or on an empty stomach, it quickly floods the bloodstream with glucose. This sugar surge triggers an insulin spike, which may lead to inflammation in small blood vessels. These tiny vessels, especially those in the lower legs, are already vulnerable due to aging and slower circulation. Over time, repeated exposure to high-sugar fruits like watermelon can lead to reduced oxygen delivery, swelling in the ankles, and a sense of heaviness or tightness in the calves and knees. It feels like the legs are slowing down, even though nothing seems obviously wrong. Consider Don, a 71-year-old retiree in Arizona who started eating watermelon daily during the summer. At first, he enjoyed the cooling effect and thought he was staying hydrated, but within a few weeks, he began noticing that after eating watermelon, his legs felt more swollen by evening. His short walks became tiring, and he struggled with mild numbness in his toes. After reviewing his dietary habits, his doctor pointed out the link between high glycemic fruits and vascular inflammation. Don reduced his watermelon intake to once a week, limited his portion to one small slice, and saw noticeable improvements in his circulation and energy within a month. Does this mean watermelon must be eliminated completely? Not necessarily. Seniors can still enjoy watermelon, but with boundaries. Small portions, a thin wedge, eaten occasionally, and never on an empty stomach. Pairing it with protein, fiber, or fat, like a few almonds or cottage cheese, can slow the sugar absorption. Avoid eating watermelon before long periods of inactivity, like before bed or extended sitting, when circulation is already reduced. And if even watermelon, a fruit composed mostly of water, can quietly sabotage your legs, imagine the impact of fruits that combine acidity with sugar. One of the most beloved citrus fruits might be the next hidden trigger. Let's talk about oranges and their subtle effects on joint stiffness and morning mobility. Oranges are often seen as the gold standard of health. They're loaded with vitamin C, promoted for immune support, and found in everything from breakfast plates to healthy smoothies. Many seniors drink a glass of orange juice every morning with full confidence that they're making a smart choice. But here's what's rarely discussed. For adults over 60, especially those dealing with joint stiffness or arthritis, the citric acid in oranges may be quietly doing more harm than good. That bright, tangy flavor can mask a deeper problem: low-grade inflammation that worsens stiffness in joints, particularly in the morning. As the body ages, the cartilage in joints becomes thinner, the tissues more sensitive, and the ability to neutralize dietary acids decreases. Citric acid, abundant in oranges, may irritate the synovial lining in joints, the thin layer that keeps movement smooth. When this irritation persists, it leads to symptoms many seniors brush off as just old age. Tight knees upon waking, hips that feel locked, or calves that cramp after sitting too long. And since oranges also contain natural sugars, the combination of acid and glucose can contribute to systemic inflammation, especially in those with arthritis, gout, or metabolic issues. Take Alina, a 70-year-old yoga instructor from California who prided herself on her clean diet. Every morning began with a bowl of fruit, mostly oranges and grapefruit. Over time, Alina noticed that her morning yoga sessions became more painful. Her knees felt stiff, her balance was off, and her lower back ached more than usual. Suspecting age-related wear, she consulted her doctor. But blood work and lifestyle analysis pointed toward her citrus-heavy diet. After switching to low-acid fruits like papaya and berries, Alina reported dramatic improvements in flexibility and significantly less morning stiffness within 2 weeks. So should oranges be completely avoided? Not always, but moderation is essential. For seniors, it's best to eat oranges occasionally, no more than 2 or 3 segments at a time, and avoid drinking orange juice, which concentrates both acid and sugar. Eating oranges alongside alkaline foods, like leafy greens or avocado, may help balance the acid load. Seniors with a history of joint pain, gout, or morning stiffness should consider eliminating citrus for a short trial period and tracking any changes in mobility or discomfort. And if oranges, so closely associated with health, can quietly trigger inflammation and stiffness, what about fruits with a sharper bite, like green apples? Up next, we'll explore how the malic acid and hidden sugars in tart apples might be silently fueling nighttime cramps and hip pain in aging bodies. Green apples are often marketed as the healthy apple, tart, low in sugar, and packed with fiber. Many seniors believe that choosing green apples over red ones is a smarter choice for weight control, blood sugar, and overall wellness. But the truth is more nuanced. While green apples do have slightly less sugar, they also contain higher levels of malic acid, the compound responsible for their sour taste. And for adults over 60, that acid, combined with the fruit's hidden sugars, can quietly aggravate sensitive joints, muscles, and nerve tissues. Malic acid, though beneficial in small doses for younger adults, can irritate aging tissues. Seniors often have thinner cartilage, more fragile nerve endings, and less stomach acid to buffer dietary acids. When malic acid enters the system regularly, especially through raw green apples, it can trigger low-grade inflammation that builds up in weight-bearing joints like the hips and lower back. Additionally, while green apples may not taste overly sweet, they still contain enough natural sugar to elevate blood glucose. In aging bodies with slower insulin response, this can contribute to nighttime muscle cramps, stiffness in the hips, and morning fatigue in the legs. Take Tom, a 68-year-old retiree in Minnesota, who switched to eating a green apple before bed instead of dessert. Within a few weeks, he began experiencing aching hips at night and mild cramping in his calves. At first, he thought it was just poor sleep posture, but when the discomfort became nightly, his doctor suggested removing acidic fruits for a trial. Once Tom replaced his nighttime snack with a handful of nuts and a few blueberries, the cramps disappeared, and he woke up with less stiffness and better energy. So should seniors cut out green apples entirely? Not necessarily, but timing and portion size matter. Eating half a green apple earlier in the day, paired with a fat or protein like almond butter or yogurt, can help buffer the acid and slow the sugar's absorption. Seniors prone to joint pain, cramping, or gastrointestinal sensitivity should avoid green apples at night or on an empty stomach. And if something as seemingly safe as a green apple can provoke nighttime pain and hidden inflammation, what about fruits that are naturally much sweeter? Let's move on to mangoes, perhaps the most sugar-loaded fruit of them all, and explore how they may be quietly inflaming your soft tissues. Mangoes are often celebrated as one of the healthiest and most delicious tropical fruits. They're loaded with vitamins A and C, taste like dessert, and feel like a natural reward. For seniors, mangoes are commonly viewed as a guilt-free pleasure, something sweet that comes from nature rather than a package. But few realize that this natural candy is one of the highest sugar fruits available. A single mango can contain over 45 grams of sugar, more than a can of soda. For people over 60, that much sugar in one sitting can quietly trigger a cascade of inflammatory reactions, particularly in soft tissues, nerves, and joints. As we age, our metabolic system slows down, our insulin sensitivity drops, and our ability to clear sugar efficiently declines. When a senior eats mango, especially in the afternoon or evening when activity levels are lower, it can cause blood glucose to spike rapidly. That spike doesn't just lead to short-term energy crashes. It activates chronic, low-grade inflammation that sinks deep into muscle fibers and connective tissue. Over time, this inflammation can reduce joint flexibility, increase nerve sensitivity, and contribute to symptoms like burning feet, aching thighs, and swelling in the ankles, even when other vital signs appear normal. Mangoes also lack fiber density, so they're absorbed quickly, making their sugar impact even more intense. Take Janet, a 70-year-old retired nurse from Georgia. She started eating half a mango every night with dinner, thinking it was a better dessert than cookies. But within a few weeks, she noticed a burning sensation in her heels, tingling in her lower legs, and occasional cramps in her hips during sleep. Blood work showed her fasting glucose had crept up, and her inflammatory markers were elevated. Her doctor recommended removing high-sugar fruits for a trial period. Once Janet replaced mango with avocado and fresh berries, her nighttime discomfort eased, and her morning stiffness disappeared within 2 weeks. Does this mean mango should be completely eliminated? Not entirely, but it should be approached with caution. For seniors, a few thin slices once or twice per week is a safer limit, and it's best eaten earlier in the day, paired with protein or healthy fat to slow absorption. Mangoes should definitely be avoided on an empty stomach or in large portions, especially for those managing diabetes, neuropathy, or chronic joint pain. So now that we've explored how mangoes and other high-sugar fruits can quietly sabotage leg strength and increase inflammation, let's shift gears. What fruits actually support strong joints, smooth circulation, and healthier aging? It's time to dive into the smart fruit strategies that work for seniors. Welcome to the next section: solutions for eating fruit the right way. As we grow older, the body's nutritional needs change in subtle but profound ways. The foods that once energized us can now contribute to inflammation, stiffness, and fatigue if we're not careful. Nowhere is this more true than with fruit. While fruit remains an essential part of a healthy diet, seniors must become more selective. The focus should shift toward fruits that are anti-inflammatory, low in sugar, and gentle on the digestive and vascular systems, especially for those dealing with joint pain, circulation issues, or muscle weakness in the legs. One of the best examples is blueberries. Small but powerful, blueberries are packed with antioxidants, particularly anthocyanins, which combat oxidative stress and reduce systemic inflammation. For seniors, this means less swelling in the lower limbs, better protection for blood vessels, and improved mobility. Studies have shown that regular blueberry consumption can help increase nitric oxide production, improving blood flow to the extremities. This not only reduces leg fatigue, but also supports better balance and endurance during walking or exercise. Next on the list is the cherry, a fruit often underestimated in senior diets. Cherries, especially tart varieties, have been shown to lower uric acid levels, making them particularly helpful for seniors struggling with gout or recurring joint pain. They contain natural compounds like quercetin and cyanidin, which can help decrease inflammatory markers in the blood. A small handful of cherries per day has been linked to fewer flare-ups in arthritis patients, less stiffness in the knees, and reduced nighttime leg discomfort. Avocado, though technically a fruit, stands apart due to its high healthy fat content. Unlike sugary fruits, avocado is rich in monounsaturated fats and anti-inflammatory compounds that cushion joints and nourish connective tissue. It also contains vitamin E, magnesium, and potassium, nutrients essential for nerve health, muscle recovery, and stable blood sugar levels. Seniors who eat avocado regularly often report steadier energy, fewer blood sugar crashes, and better joint comfort during daily activity. Another excellent option is papaya, a soft tropical fruit known for its digestive enzymes, especially papain. As digestion tends to slow with age, papaya can help ease bloating, improve nutrient absorption, and calm the gastrointestinal tract, indirectly reducing systemic inflammation. It's also loaded with vitamin C and beta-carotene, which support collagen production and tissue repair, particularly in aging joints and ligaments. Lastly, pears offer a refreshing balance of hydration and low sugar content. High in soluble fiber, pears help stabilize blood sugar levels and promote bowel regularity, important for seniors whose systems may be more sensitive to spikes and slow digestion. Pears are also gentle on the stomach and pair well with protein or healthy fats, making them a flexible option at any time of day. But knowing what to eat is only half the battle. How and when to eat these fruits is equally important. For example, fruits are best consumed earlier in the day, when insulin sensitivity is higher, and physical activity can help burn off natural sugars. Pairing fruit with a protein or fat, like eating blueberries with Greek yogurt or avocado with eggs, can reduce the glycemic load and prevent inflammation spikes. Avoid eating fruits alone as a late-night snack, when circulation slows and digestion is more sluggish. For those looking to reboot their leg health and energy, here's a simple 7-day plan to incorporate these rescue fruits into your routine. Day 1, breakfast, oatmeal with fresh blueberries and chia seeds. Day 2, mid-morning, a small handful of tart cherries with almonds. Day 3, lunch, turkey sandwich with sliced avocado and tomato. Day 4, snack, papaya slices with a dollop of cottage cheese. Day 5, dinner, grilled chicken salad topped with pears and walnuts. Day 6, breakfast, scrambled eggs with avocado and whole grain toast. Day 7, midday smoothie with blueberries, Greek yogurt, and flaxseed. Follow this plan with adequate hydration, gentle movement like walking or stretching, and attention to portion size. Within a week, many seniors notice less swelling in their ankles, improved joint flexibility, and greater ease during physical activity. These fruits not only nourish the body, they support its repair systems and help reverse damage caused by years of low-grade inflammation and poor circulation. So if you've been relying on sweet fruits like bananas, watermelon, or mangoes, and still wondering why your legs feel heavy or your joints ache in the morning, this might be the shift your body's been waiting for. By choosing the right fruits at the right time, you're giving your body tools, not obstacles, to restore balance, circulation, and strength. Now that we've explored what fruits truly support aging joints and circulation, it's time to go even deeper. Let's move into the next section, a broader understanding of how aging affects nutrition and how to design a diet that works with your body, not against it. Leg weakness is often one of the earliest and most overlooked signs of aging. While many seniors expect their vision to blur or their memory to fade with time, they're surprised when simple movements, climbing stairs, getting out of a chair, or standing for long periods, become difficult. The truth is, the legs are among the first parts of the body to reveal deeper issues related to aging because they depend heavily on circulation, muscle mass, nerve signaling, and inflammation control, all systems that gradually decline with age. When the legs begin to feel heavy, unstable, or weak, it's not just about muscles. It's a reflection of what's happening inside the entire body. Blood circulation plays a central role in leg strength. As we age, the arteries and capillaries that deliver oxygen and nutrients to the lower body become less efficient. Microcirculation in the calves, ankles, and feet slows down, leading to a buildup of waste products and reduced muscle recovery. Combine this with increased inflammation, either from poor diet, chronic stress, or underlying conditions like diabetes, and you have the perfect environment for stiffness, soreness, and fatigue. Additionally, unstable blood sugar levels can impair nerve function, affecting balance, muscle coordination, and response time. That's why even small changes in glucose levels, often triggered by sugary fruits or high-carb meals, can make the legs feel sluggish or unstable in seniors. Another critical factor is the body's shifting metabolism. At 30, the body processes carbohydrates and sugars quickly, muscles recover faster, and inflammation is more easily managed. But by age 60, insulin sensitivity drops, muscle protein synthesis slows, and the body's inflammatory response becomes more easily triggered. The same fruit that energized someone in their 30s might now cause swelling or fatigue in someone in their 60s. This metabolic slowdown makes dietary choices much more important. Seniors can no longer eat generally healthy and expect optimal results. They need targeted nutrition, foods that support muscle health, stabilize blood sugar, and reduce inflammation, especially in the lower extremities. Unfortunately, many older adults unknowingly fall into dietary traps. One of the most common mistakes is eating enough calories but not enough nutrients. For example, a breakfast of toast, banana, and orange juice might seem light and healthy, but it's high in sugar, low in protein, and completely lacks anti-inflammatory compounds. Without enough magnesium, omega-3 fats, vitamin D, and antioxidants, the body can't repair tissue or manage inflammation effectively. Another issue is meal timing. Skipping breakfast or eating too much fruit late at night can worsen insulin swings and interfere with overnight recovery. Lastly, many seniors don't drink enough water, further compromising circulation and nutrient transport, especially to the legs. Recognizing the link between nutrition and leg health is key. When you nourish the body with the right balance of fruits, fats, proteins, and anti-inflammatory nutrients, the legs regain strength, balance improves, and fatigue fades. The earlier seniors address these subtle signs, the better their chance of maintaining independence, mobility, and quality of life well into their 70s and beyond. Now that we've uncovered the deep connection between diet, aging, and leg strength, it's time to bring everything together. Let's move into the final section, where we'll summarize the key takeaways, share an inspiring story of transformation, and leave you with a call to action that could change the way you walk through life, starting today. So here's what we've learned: 7 fruits to limit, 5 to embrace, and 1 body that's waiting to heal itself, if only you give it the right fuel. The key message is simple yet powerful. Your legs aren't weak because of your age, they're weak because they've been nourished the wrong way. But the good news is, it's not too late to change that. Take the story of Frank, a 72-year-old grandfather who used to start every morning with a glass of orange juice and a bowl of mango. After months of leg pain and balance issues, he made a simple shift. He removed those fruits from his breakfast and replaced them with half an avocado and a handful of cherries. Just 6 weeks later, Frank was walking 2 kilometers every morning. No pain, no swelling, just steady strength returning to his stride. Now let me ask you, if changing one fruit in your breakfast could help you stand up with ease, reduce that numbness in your legs, and take steps with confidence again, would you be willing to try it? You don't need a radical diet or a miracle pill. Just one small, intentional step. Pick one of the good fruits we've discussed. Start tomorrow. Write down how your body feels each day for a week. Track your progress. And if you find it helpful, come back and share your story. You might inspire someone else to take their first step toward recovery, just like Frank did.